several weeks ago, I started talking about the seven-limb prayer and have had several detours since then. So I thought maybe I should return to that. So we were talking about rejoicing. So I thought to continue that, especially since this morning we were talking so much about the kindness of sentient beings. And so, we could talk about the kindness, and then you could almost hear in the background this chorus of, yes, but, yeah. And then even right now, if we try and talk about the kindness, there's amazing kindness that people are showing each other right now. But again, you can hear in the background, but look at what so-and-so's doing, and look at who this one's doing, and look at the harm that's going to come there. And, the response isn't significant, and people aren't listening to the leaders, or people are listening to the leaders, or the leaders can't agree on what they're saying, or, everything's so messed up, and there's no clear way out of this. And the virus isn't going to disappear, and we're always going to be plagued. So what are you talking about kindness for and rejoicing at the goodness of others for? Because this is all going downhill, and the economy shrunk 4.8%, and the UN is saying that half of the world's workers are going to lose their livelihood because of it. And what you're saying is, so, just stop talking about this kindness jazz, okay? No, we won't start talking about it, because yes, all that negative stuff is existing. Yes, that exists. Yeah, when we talk about the kindness of others, we're not saying the other stuff doesn't exist. Okay, the other stuff is samsara. Yeah. And the kindness of sentient beings also exists in samsara. Yeah. So we've got to overcome this mind that everything is all bad or everything is all good. And, and because when we concentrate on the all bad thing, then we just rejoice in our ability to complain, And we rejoice in our anger, and we rejoice at blaming others, and we rejoice at saying that they should fix it while we sit here, But when you think about the kindness of others, then, you feel hopeful, because you realize that, yes, there is a tremendous amount of kindness, and it often goes unrecognized. In 19, maybe 92, it was the early 90s, His Holiness the Dalai Lama came and gave a talk in Seattle. And I remember this very particularly. Were you there? And he said, in the media, we're always talking about how many people get hurt, how much the people, have this disaster and that disaster. And he said, oh, all you people, you're very good with your sharp noses picking out things that don't go right, and all the corruption, but you also have to talk about what's good. Yeah. So, balanced reporting. And, I really started looking after that. And that is really true. He said, we actually assume kindness and goodness, and we report when that doesn't happen. So that's why the news tends to be negative, because we're somehow astonished by it or surprised by the lack of kindness and goodness. Yeah. But when you look around at the world, there's people helping each other all the time. And we don't comment on it. And we usually don't even notice it, because we take it for granted. But it's very, very important to rejoice at this kind of stuff. So, before we talked about rejoicing as an antidote to jealousy, yeah, we rejoice at the good qualities of other people. We rejoice at their merit. We rejoice at their opportunities and so on. But we also have to rejoice at their kindness, yeah, because it's there. And when we can rejoice at others' kindness, it inspires us to try and be kind too. Yeah. When if we don't rejoice and we just take goodness for granted, and then just point out everything that isn't going the way that we like, then that attitude actually is one that produces more suffering. Yeah, we may think we're being more realistic. Yeah, I'm seeing all the downfalls and the faults. I'm being more realistic. But what happens is our mind reacts to that with aversion, and we go into blaming others and in feelings of entitlement and injustice and complaining. And that actually increases our own personal misery as well as the misery in the world. Yeah, so we know all that stuff is there. We have to face it. But we have to also see the kindness and the good things and let that inspire us so that we want to join in with the chorus of kindness, okay? And sing along with the chorus of kindness and put our energy in that direction, because that makes us feel happier and it encourages us to act. And of course, when we act, whatever each one of us contributes as an individual helps the situation. So, like I was saying before, we don't have to, it's not up to us as an individual to change the whole world. Nobody's capable of that, okay? What we have to do is work as much as we can with the skills that we have and constantly try to improve our skills. And also really accept that it's going to take a while. Yeah. And so to have a courageous mind with a lot of inner strength that hangs in there through ups and downs and ups and downs. Yeah. And so I was thinking about the hospital workers. I was listening to one thing where they're talking about their experience. And this week, is much better than last week in New York. In ER, there's not patients in the hallways like there was last week. So things are better. But we're not over this yet. Yeah, and the doctors, you could see the fatigue, but you could see their commitment to being there and to helping. Yeah, and to doing what needs to be done, and to rejoice in their attitude. That I would perfectly understand if they all said, okay, it's better than this week, throw in the towel, I'm going home. Somebody else can, handle the rest of it because I went through the difficult part. Boy, I could understand somebody doing that, but that's not what they're doing. Yeah, that's not what they're doing. And so to look, and I find that tremendously inspiring to see that attitude. Yeah. And to rejoice in their courageous compassion. And nudge myself to go towards that. Yeah. Because we have to see goodness in the world so that we can go towards that. And rejoicing is a very important part of that.